Oh my God, you are never going to believe this. Seriously, pour yourself something strong, because I need to get this off my chest. My name's Sienna, I'm 31, and my life basically blew up. But honestly, it's not my fault. It's theirs. All of them. It all started, like most things, with me feeling a little unnoticed. My family, they're fine, I guess. My parents are always focused on my older sister, Chloe. Chloe, Miss Perfect, always getting good grades, always getting promotions at her boring finance job, always with a stable boyfriend. Me? I was just Sienna. The one who was creative, which really meant I jumped from one thing to the next and never quite stuck with anything. I was working retail, which was just a placeholder, obviously. I had big plans, just hadn't landed on the right one yet. And then there was Lucas, my boyfriend. He was, okay. A good guy, I guess. Too nice, really. Always trying to please everyone. He was always going on about open communication and emotional honesty. Like, seriously, chill. We'd been together for 5 years, lived together for 3. He was the breadwinner, which was good, because my retail job barely covered my half of the rent, and let's be real, I needed new clothes and stuff. He never complained about picking up the slack, but I knew he was quietly judging me. I could always tell by the way he'd sigh when I bought another pair of shoes. He was too nice to say anything, but the size spoke volumes. So, things were just, meh. I felt like I was fading into the background. Chloe was getting married, and suddenly all the family attention was on her and her stupid wedding plans. It was always, Chloe, did you pick your flowers? Or, Chloe, how's the dress fitting? Nobody asked me how I was doing. Nobody cared about my feelings. And then, I had this moment. I was watching one of those sad movies, you know, where someone gets sick and everyone rallies around them. And I just thought, wow. Everyone loves them so much. And that's when the idea clicked. It was a really stupid thought, I know, but it was just like, what if? What if I had something big going on? Something that would make everyone focus on me for a change? I started small. Just a little cough here and there. A little feeling tired after work. Lucas would be all, are you okay, babe? You look a little pale. And I'd be like, oh, just a little under the weather, nothing serious. He'd always be so sweet then, bringing me tea, rubbing my back. It was nice. Then, I went a little further. I did some research online. You know, just general stuff about different illnesses. Nothing too specific, because I didn't want to mess up the details. And then I decided. Cancer. It was serious enough to get attention, but also, it had different types, so I could be vague. I picked something vague. Like, some kind of rare blood disorder that acted like cancer. So I didn't have to pick a specific organ or anything. Smart, right? I started dropping hints. Casually, like I wasn't even trying to get attention. Oh, my head's been aching so much lately, and I'm just so tired. Or, I think I might need to see a doctor about these weird pains. My mom, who is a total hypochondriac, immediately jumped on it. Oh, Sienna, you need to get that checked out. Don't wait. So, I went to the doctor. I just went to a walk-in clinic, told them I had a cough, got some antibiotics. No big deal. But when I came home, I put on my best sad face. The doctor said they found something concerning. They need to do more tests. Lucas looked genuinely worried. My mom started crying on the phone. Chloe, for once, actually seemed to care. And then came the big reveal. After a few weeks of tests and waiting for results, which really meant me doing more online research to get the details straight, I finally told them. It's a rare form of blood cancer. I made sure to cry, really sell it. Oh my God, you should have seen them. My mom was inconsolable. My dad, who never shows emotion, actually hugged me. Chloe canceled her wedding dress fitting to come over. Lucas, sweet Lucas, he just held me, his eyes full of tears. It was everything I wanted. All the attention, all the sympathy. I was finally the center of their world. The next year was interesting. I had to keep up the charade, obviously. It was exhausting, honestly. I had to pretend to go to appointments, which usually meant I just went to the mall or sat in my car in a doctor's parking lot for an hour. I'd come home looking tired, maybe a little pale, a little extra makeup helped with that. Lucas was amazing. He cooked all my meals, he cleaned the apartment, he basically waited on me hand and foot. He stopped going out with his friends as much, because he wanted to be home with me. I mean, he was always so obsessed with his stupid D&D group. Between us, I always thought his friend, Dave, was a total weirdo, always giving me dirty looks. I just pretended to be worried about Lucas, like, honey, you look so tired. Are you sure you shouldn't go out with Dave tonight? You deserve a break. He'd say no, of course, because he was such a good boyfriend. He never wanted to leave me alone. My family was always checking in. My mom called me every day, asking if I needed anything. Chloe brought over homemade casseroles, which were actually pretty good. She even let me complain about her wedding plans, and she didn't even argue. It was glorious. My cousin, Bethany, who always acted like she was better than me, started sending me inspirational quotes and little gifts. She was trying to act all supportive, but I knew she was just trying to feel good about herself. That bitch. The hardest part was having to turn down things. Like, oh, I'd love to go to that concert, but my energy levels are just too low. Or, I can't drink any alcohol because of my medication. It was a pain, but totally worth it for the attention. I even had to pretend to have bad days. Sometimes I'd just stay in bed all day, moaning about the pain. Lucas would be so worried, bringing me hot compresses and whispering sweet nothings. He even started doing more of my chores, saying I needed to rest and recover. He was such a pushover. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. I started posting vague updates on Facebook. Nothing too explicit, just like, a picture of a hospital waiting room, from Google Images, obviously, with a caption like, another day, another battle. So grateful for my amazing support system. All the comments would be like, you're so strong, Sienna, and thinking of you, warrior. It was fantastic for my ego. Validation seeking? Me? Never. I was just sharing my journey. The biggest challenge was the money. My family kept offering to pay for things, for treatments or special foods. I always said no, because I didn't want them digging into real medical bills. Lucas, though, he offered to cover all our expenses so I could focus on getting better. He even started working extra shifts. I said yes to that, of course. He was my boyfriend, he was supposed to take care of me. And besides, I had my own savings, I just didn't want to touch them. A girl needs her own money, you know? You never know when you might need an escape fund. Not that I ever thought about leaving Lucas. Much. Things were getting a little complicated. Lucas was always trying to get me to see a specialist or a different doctor. He'd say, babe, maybe we should get a second opinion? Just to be sure. I'd always shut him down with, no, Lucas, the doctors know what they're doing. You're being dramatic. Or I'd just start crying and say, you don't believe me, do you? You think I'm making it up? That always worked. He hated it when I cried. He'd immediately apologize and promise to trust me. He was so easy. The year mark was approaching, and I knew I couldn't keep this up forever. It was getting harder to make excuses. My parents were hinting about wanting to meet my oncologist. Lucas was talking about getting me into some clinical trial. It was all spiraling. I needed an exit strategy. So, I planned it. The big remission announcement. I was going to tell them I was miraculously cured. That the rare blood cancer had just gone away. A Christmas miracle, right? It was perfect. I called a family meeting. Everyone was there, my parents, Chloe, Lucas, even Bethany. I made a little speech, my voice trembling with emotion. I have some news, I said, pausing for dramatic effect. The doctors, they can't find any trace of the cancer. I'm in remission. My mom burst into tears, happy tears this time. My dad looked relieved. Chloe actually hugged me, a real hug. Lucas looked like he was going to faint from relief. He looked so happy, so relieved. He was so innocent. Everyone was celebrating. They threw a little party for me. It was great. I was the hero. The survivor. The one who beat the odds. But then, things started to unravel. Slowly at first. Lucas, bless his sweet, innocent heart, he wanted to celebrate. Babe, let's go on a trip. A real celebration. We deserve it. And he started talking about this amazing trip to the Grand Canyon he'd always dreamed of. I was like, oh, honey, that sounds amazing, but my energy levels are still a bit low. Maybe something a little less strenuous? I tried to subtly discourage his growth and hobbies that didn't include me, but he was always so excited about his own ideas. Between us, I hated hiking. And I didn't want him having fun without me. He got a little quiet, but he dropped it. Then, my mom started asking about my follow-up appointments. Sienna, when's your next checkup? We should all go with you. I stammered, making up some excuse about the clinic being closed for the holidays. Chloe, Miss Perfect, she started being annoying. Sienna, you should really volunteer at a cancer charity now. You could share your story and inspire so many people. I just smiled and nodded, thinking, yeah, right. I was not about to get involved in anything that would expose my lie. And then Lucas found it. It was stupid, really. A small, crumpled medical bill from that first walk-in clinic, for a prescription for antibiotics. I had left it in the pocket of an old jacket. He was cleaning out our closet, being all helpful, and he found it. He walked into the living room, holding the bill, his face utterly blank. Sienna, he said, his voice dangerously quiet. What is this? My heart pounded. What's what, honey? Oh, that? Just an old bill, from when I had a cold or something. I tried to sound casual. This says you were prescribed antibiotics. And it's from over a year ago. Right around the time you said you were getting those initial tests for the cancer. His eyes were cold. So cold. I tried to gaslight him. Lucas, you're being ridiculous. That's totally unrelated. You're making connections that aren't there. You're being dramatic. Dramatic? He scoffed. Dramatic, Sienna? For a year, I've been living with a sick girlfriend, working extra shifts, worrying myself sick, canceling everything, putting my life on hold. And you're telling me this is unrelated? I started crying. Real tears this time, because I was scared. You don't trust me. You never trusted me. You think I would lie about something like that? He just stared at me. Yes, Sienna. I think you would. And that was it. The dam broke. He started asking all these questions. About the appointments, about the treatments, about the specialist. He started tearing apart all my little lies, one by one. He remembered every time I'd been vague, every time I'd changed my story a little. He was like a detective, and I had no answers. I couldn't even use weaponized vulnerability anymore. He was just done. You faked having cancer, Sienna, he said, his voice trembling with disbelief and disgust. You faked having cancer to keep me and your family around you. No. I just felt so alone. And nobody ever paid attention to me. I wailed, still trying to shift the blame. It's your fault. All of you. If you had just paid more attention, if you had just cared, I wouldn't have had to do this. He just shook his head. I can't believe this. I can't believe I lived with you for 3 years and didn't see it. He stood up. I'm done, Sienna. I can't do this anymore. He packed a bag. Not a big one, just a duffel bag, but it felt like he was taking everything. He didn't say goodbye. He just walked out the door. And that was it. My life, my apartment, my comfortable life with Lucas, all gone in an instant. The fallout was extreme. Lucas went to my parents. He told them everything. He didn't hold back. My mom called me, hysterical. Sienna. How could you? Your own family. My dad, he just sounded so disappointed. We worried ourselves sick, Sienna. Sick. Chloe, Miss Perfect, she posted about it on Facebook. Not my name specifically, but it was clear it was about me. Something like, when you find out someone close to you has betrayed your trust in the most unimaginable way. Some people will do anything for attention. Her friends, they were all commenting, oh my God, who is it? And I just knew. Everyone knew. My entire social life, my reputation, gone. My retail job, well, turns out one of my coworkers saw Chloe's post and put two and two together. The manager called me in. Sienna, we've heard some disturbing things. We can't have someone like you working here. It's not good for morale. Fired. Just like that. I tried to get other jobs, but it was like I was blacklisted. Every interview, they'd ask about my previous employment, and when I mentioned my last job, they'd get a weird look. It was like I had a giant scarlet letter on my forehead. No one would hire me. I couldn't even get a job bagging groceries. My family, they completely cut me off. My mom wouldn't answer my calls. My dad stopped returning my texts. Chloe, she blocked me on everything. Bethany, the one who sent me inspirational quotes, she posted a picture of herself volunteering at a real cancer charity, with the caption, supporting true fighters. The shade was real. I had to move back home with my parents. But it wasn't like before. They barely spoke to me. The house was filled with this suffocating silence. My mom cried all the time, not for me, but because she felt so betrayed. My dad just looked at me with this haunted expression. It was like I was a ghost in my own home. And then, the ultimate kick in the teeth. Lucas. I saw pictures of him on Facebook, with that new girl. She was genuinely sweet, everyone said so. And he looked so happy. He was actually hiking the Grand Canyon with her. The trip he wanted to take with me. It was like he was living the life I was supposed to have, with someone else. Someone who actually cared. My phone never rang. My social media was dead. I was completely alone. I got exactly what I wanted for a year, all the attention, but now it was gone, and I had nothing. No job, no boyfriend, no family, no friends. And it was all their fault. If they had just been there for me, if they had just noticed me, if they had just been better at catching lies, none of this would have happened. It wasn't my fault. It was theirs. And honestly, I don't care anymore. Let them have their perfect lives. I'm just here. Alone. And it's not fair.